What do you think about it, Chico? Is it too early to do this kind of work? I think so too, yeah. But I need to do it. I gotta do stuff. And it's cold outside, so we can't walk really anyway. You don't want to get all snowy, do you? Having snow. Do you want your Christmas candy? Christmas candy? And your chicken? Mr. Chicken? You're too tired to even play with your chicken, aren't you? You're so sweet. I love you. Okay. Yeah. He's hugging his chicken. Yeah, you gotta go to sleep. Just forget about it, okay? We don't want to go out there in that old nasty snow. It's nasty. You can dream about it not being nasty, and then we'll deal with it later. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay, so this is going to be an update on both cases. We filed the YouTube Google LLC case first, and then while we were waiting on what would hopefully be a settlement on December 18th, I went ahead and filed the Telegram case. So an update on the Telegram case is that I now have e-filing capability, which will be great going forward. That is kind of a complicated process in the state, in the court that I did that in. So that is great that that's done, and I'll be able to add exhibits and all that kind of stuff. So right now, though, there are no deadlines with that we haven't met, so I'm going to leave that on the back burner. It's extremely important to get the other case worked on because the writ amendments are due January 9th, and I'll definitely meet that deadline, definitely probably be way ahead of time on that, and that's good because I want to get a few things in place, and those are the things that are, some of them are kind of exciting, so I want to let you guys know about it. There are things that were kind of new to me also. And then also, they will be making their decision January 31st, but before that, we'll have a meeting and I'll kind of know what they're going to do. And I'll already have a game plan of which things I'll do in response to whatever they do. So let me let you know kind of what I've decided on all of that. So first of all, this case is one that I'm going to leave in the court that it's in. I talked in the other video about moving it possibly because of how more federal law applies, but I forgot. I was thinking about remote hearing so much that I totally forgot about the whole e-filing aspect in that court system, and because of the Telegram one, it made me think of it. So one of the problems was the type of court, taking it to a district court. I can say it's district court, I'm not saying the state, but taking it to district court would have meant that the first filing you do has to be in person. You can't e-file. And I couldn't go anywhere at that time for various reasons, which I can prove up, the obligations that I had here. And access to justice law under the state penal code should work for that. I'm really leaning more towards that would be something that they would accept. So I'm going to leave it where it is, I think, and tie in all the state law and federal law. State law has power over them, legal jurisdiction over them. So I'm thinking it might be fine where it is. If not, it might get sent to the other court or dismissed without prejudice, which means I can refile it in the other court. I'm hoping all of that won't be necessary because of the other stuff I'm going to mention just now. So let's get into that real quick. So while I was working on this, when I'm working on legal stuff, I'm usually either listening to music or podcasts or something. And I, at this point, was listening to a podcast with Layla Mickelwaite, who I didn't know who that was at the time. And she's a person who got a lot of stuff taken down off of Pornhub, battled them for years over, child rape and human trafficking. And just to be clear, this isn't like some prude that's just anti-porn, not that you can't be anti-porn, but just to make it clear, like she thinks if adults are doing something, that's their own business, but there's too much crime on that platform. And so the problem isn't just that it's a sexual platform, it's that it's children and it's people that were kidnapped and human trafficked and stuff like that. And that even when victims have reached out to them, they balk at taking the content down, or they'll take it down and re-upload it. And this ties into the law, some of which applies here in our case, because, you've got a platform that's aware of crime, making money off of that crime. And they're complicit then in doing that. So that was all interesting to me. She's not an attorney either, but she does have an organization called Justice Defense Fund. So here's something interesting. Our case involves someone who I've shown them has promoted incest on their platform. That is illegal to do that. And if you knowingly allow people to do that, your Section 230 protections can go away. So that's something that they know about now, and I know they know it. The lawyer made it clear she was taking that back to her client. Same thing with him being banned there, which is a terms of service violation, which ties into contract law. Just the fact that I'm a contract holder there and that they're violating their own terms of service, which isn't fair to me or any other contract holder. just everything. They're aware of everything. They're making it really, really clear that they're aware of everything and still not acting. So, the way she sounded on the phone, I so wish you could know, because the first part of that, she was saying that she couldn't give me a time frame on that, and there was a process to it when it comes to deplatforming him. But she made it sound, the first 3 times she touched on that, it made it sound to me like they are going through that process. I think they just desperately don't want that process to be tied to this case. So, but why they, I think they want it to be where he just goes down one day and I don't know why, and we're gone already, and it doesn't have anything to do with me, and they can just make it look like, well, we don't have to tell you anything, you're a third party. Which is going to be what their demurrer basically is going to be all about if they file that with the court. And just to make clear, I tried to make it clear in the other video, a demurrer is not the worst thing in the world. It just, compared to a settlement, was very disgusting to me for them to even be battling me this way. But after listening to Layla Mickleweight, look what they did with battling her. Like a 14-year-old raped boy, 20-something videos of that child, and you have to go through hoops with the police to get them to take the videos down. It's insanity. So, my hopes for this mega corporation doing the right thing are lower, but at the same time, she got a lot of that stuff taken down. She got credit card companies taken off. They were held liable. There's a lot of things that you can do. It's just not the way that it should be when people aren't honorable. And we're not really dealing with people. We're dealing with companies. And companies are oftentimes very predatory. They operate more like Gatis Lagzdins than like a human. So if you think of them that way, you can figure out how to combat them a little better, basically. But so here's the thing. There's something called Amicus Curiae, and it's a legal doctrine where you have the ability to bring someone in, an organization in, as a friend to the court. Now, it's kind of funny how all this ties together, because it's almost like God working, trying to help you. I just feel that way about it, because when I was talking to her the first time we talked, she said, are you part of an organization or something? And I said, no, I'm just a third-party witness to crime. I do have a legal background, but that's all, And then I thought, why would she be so concerned about that? And I did think about hearing about this, and then I was listening to Layla Mickleweight all these months later, and I was thinking, she has an organization. I wonder if there's a way to bring them into this case without them being I don't have to be a member, and they don't have to be a party to the case, but they can be brought in some way. And I looked that up. I didn't know if that could be part of a mandamus action, and it can. So I can bring them in as a friend to the court, because the interest here does involve the well-being of 2 children. So we're talking about one child that Gatis Lagzdins has tried to have murdered multiple times, and would still murder. And then we have another child, because he's saying he doesn't have but one child, he thinks of that other child as deceased, and that other child is very much alive. So we have the other child who could be a victim of incest, who could already be being abused, since he's pro-incest, and is making that clear right now on Telegram, and he directs people from YouTube to Telegram. So some of these other things I'm going to tie into the writ also. I'm going to go back to... I think I'm going to put some more things back on the table with them, and I'll let them know in our meeting that I have. I'm going to require them to give this information to law enforcement without a court order. I can do that under 18 U.S. Code, under ECPA, Electronic Communication and Privacy Act. It has to do with when you know people are in imminent danger. I'm going to also file an injunction, which I can do, and it's going to be based on the behavior of this company during our meetings, because my meetings with their representation, rather. Because representation is making it clear that she doesn't think she has to tell me that the client is even working towards deplatforming him or not. Well, that violates our agreement if they're not really investigating. So she says they are, but then she says she can't tell me whether they are or aren't. And I think this behavior, with the amount of evidence we've put in their face, shows a pattern of behavior that indicates that they won't do the right thing. The injunction would ask the court to make them do it before we even go through a trial process. So I'm going to add this organization and any other that I find that I want to add as a friend to the court to help me advocate for the kids, and I'm going to be talking to them also on Monday, so that'll be interesting. and I'm going to do the injunction, and then that's where we are. And I'll have all this done by the 9th, and I'll tie in more state law too, and other things as well. So I'll go over all that at some point when I have it done and stuff, and then we'll go from there. I just do hope that one way or the other we get the court to do the right thing. If we can't get the company to do the right thing, they really don't like to go after these companies, but it does happen, and I think especially considering that we're talking about babies, you would hope there'd be the rubbing together of two brain cells to know what people are going to think of them. That's the other thing too, is that I think public shaming would go a long way with them, because it's kind of like, I was thinking about how Luna, really, she's like if you think about the Christmas Story, she uploaded a picture on her Patreon of her son. It was taken when he was 1 to 2 weeks old. It was already Christmas time, and he was under the tree, and he was in a little bassinet thingy. And I was thinking about, no matter what religion you are, you think about a mother, that's part of the Christ story, the mother hiding the baby from the evil system that wants to hurt the little boy and doesn't want him to get to grow up. This company is literally acting like a beast system that is fine with watching the mother scramble to protect the son and run around trying to literally save his life from some predatory monster that they're, helping, aiding and abetting 100%. And I think some activism is in order where there's some eyes going to be on this, besides just this little hub of people who know who he is. That was one of the first things I thought, even before I thought about this lawsuit, was, if Diane could just get out of this little hub of people who happened upon this content, like I did in 2019 or whenever it was, and started knowing who they were and following the case along. And that's a small group of people compared to who could be invested in this, especially branching out into the other topics, child sex abuse and all of this stuff, making money off of things where somebody is clearly. And also, Belle, if there is a danger of any money going towards crime, her making money on the platform by having a presence here, I can tie that in. I'm going to, before I tried to be really agreeable and amenable to just about any change, just so that we could get something done. But since they're going to be so, pushing back so hard the other way, then I'll just go ahead and lay it all on there and take nothing off. If they're going to put me through the ordeal of having to actually take this to trial, then I'm going to do that. So there's no reason not to. The law is on my side. It's just a matter of getting everything done procedurally correct and getting the court to feel like they should acquiesce. If they at any point want to, omit having to do all this and do the right thing, that would be great. And I think another thing that might motivate them to do that would be, I think maybe having some physical human beings actually physically at Google headquarters talking to media in front of their headquarters about this case, and then having that be on the news would be something that they maybe don't want. So, and this could be international as well, because it is an international case. And also, you got to realize this case could set precedent in some areas, because I'm using laws that do exist, but there's never really been a case exactly like this. So I think that's why they got the big guns. They're afraid of that. Even though, I could be viewed as just some, goofy random person doing this, they know what's in there that isn't so goofy and so random, and they know what it could mean. So they're worried about it, and they should be, but they should do the right thing. Ultimately, if you're a decent human being and you have a company and you find out that somebody is, associated with you, and you make money off of that person, and you find out that they're doing terrible things, even though you'd want to mitigate your liability, I'm sure you would at some point just want to stop them. You'd just want to help. You'd just want to, put an end to it. So let's hope that there's 1 ounce of decency in these people and that they'll do that. So that's what we're going for, and I hope we achieve it. And I think we will eventually through one of these methods. Everybody take care, and I'll update you when there's actually something to update you with. Bye-bye.
He was living in half-time in London, half-time in Hong Kong. And so we found out his name, but then a journalist from the UK went on this hunt for the porn king, and he found him. And now he's being sued personally. So it's not just the company that's being sued.
Bernd
Bergmer. And he's personally being sued. The CEO and the COO, who are also minority shareholders, are also personally being sued because they've been unmasked. And that was a part of this journey.
Anybody being criminally charged in the executive suite?
Not yet.
Not yet.
But they should be.
Yeah.
And not just in the US, like here in Canada.
Mhm.
Section, 631.1 of the Criminal Code in Canada makes it illegal to transmit, possess, advertise child pornography, child sexual abuse material. An aggravating factor in that is if it's monetized, if it's for profit. I mean, this carries serious sentences. And there is no question.
But it's not being enforced.
It's not being enforced. And that's the question, is why? Why can't we enforce this?